What's going on, boxing fans? Julian Williams here with The Distance. Pretty much got another video for you guys. Not much going on in the boxing world, but I'm just going to talk about the year-ending schedule. The end of the year is shaping up very well for boxing. In my eyes, a lot of fights being set up, and I believe it ends December 18th with Hopkins versus Pascal. Fight that really, in my eyes, shouldn't even be on pay-per-view after that Jones-Hopkins 2 disaster. But anyway, lots of fights coming up, but not necessarily in the late September, October period. But one fight I would like to catch, it's going to be happening down the street from where I live in Grand Prairie. It's going to be Charles Hatley versus Emmanuel Augustus. I would like to go to that card. If I can. That's a card I just want to check out, but that's going to be in Grand Prairie, I think, if the card's still on. But after that, you have, I believe there's a WBC Cruiserweight Championship matchup. I can't pronounce the guy's name, so I'm not going to say it to make myself not look stupid. I'm trying to pronounce a name I can't pronounce, but he's fighting Jason Robinson. He's pretty much known for getting his ass beat by James Toney. Years ago, was knocked out in like 7 rounds. The WBC champ, I think, should win this one. I think he can knock him out in like 3-4 rounds, in my opinion. Just seeing him fight, I think he can knock him out. I think he can knock him out very early. If he does what I think he's gonna do. Also, it's gonna be Lucian Bute versus Jesse Brinkley. I'll be doing a prediction for that one very soon, probably in the next week or two. I'll do a prediction of that one, Jesse Brinkley versus Lucian Bute. Jesse Brinkley coming off of a very impressive victory over Curtis Showtime Stevens back in January, late January. He defeated Showtime Stevens, and to me, it was a surprise, but at the same time, you see Jesse Brinkley improve with Peter Manfredo Sr. Quite interesting, but I think that's going to be quite an interesting matchup. And also Vitaly Klitschko versus Shannon Briggs, another matchup I'll do a prediction for in the next week or two. Shannon Briggs coming off of consecutive knockout victories over unheralded opponents, facing Klitschko. I guess with him, he was the only opponent out there that had a name that he could have faced. So that matchup is happening. And then and after that, there's going to be Zabjula Lucas Matthijs out of Argentina, November the 6th. I think that's going to be an interesting matchup. Zabjula. A lot of people are talking about, this comeback for Zabjula. The comeback, how he's not fighting under his father no more, with Eddie Mustafa Muhammad. Really, I wouldn't call it a comeback. I think that before he steps in the ring with viable opponents, then he should kind of work his way up to fighting top guys. But at the same time, Lucas Matthijs needs a name to elevate him to top status. So it's a match with a lot of question marks. It makes it intriguing. Also, Vincent Escobedo versus I forgot the dude's name, Robert Guerrero. That's going to be on the same card, on the undercard. Interesting matchup, November the 6th and the 13th. Of course, you got the Pacquiao Margarito matchup. I guess quite interesting card. Brian Vera, Kelly Pavlik. You're gonna have Mike Jones versus Karras on the card. I believe he was on the Cotto Pacquiao card as well, fighting Alfonso Gomez, if I'm thinking correctly. But that's gonna be quite an interesting card because you're gonna have different levels of opponents. Different fighters on different levels on that card, so it's going to be an interesting card. Paul Williams, Sergio Martinez, 2 November 20th. Maybe we might see Chris Arreola on the undercard. I didn't even read any news on that. I'm just going to assume that we're going to see Chris Arreola on the undercard, possibly. Either that, or we're going to have to see Pacquiao Margarito's replay, one of the two. I would like to see a matchup on the undercard, but we might just have to watch Pacquiao Margarito since it was the pay-per-view fight before. But I hope there's an undercard fight for that because it's going to be an interesting, intriguing matchup. 2 days before my birthday, November 27th, we're gonna have Juan Manuel Marquez versus Michael Cassis. I've been waiting for this fight for about 2 years now. I've been waiting for this matchup. But I like style of both fighters. I like Cassis. I like Marquez. Would love to see this fight. Been waiting for this fight for a while, so I'd like to see that one. And Litzo versus Caballero. Another matchup. Jason Litzo coming off a victory over Rocky Juarez back in April on the Jones Hopkins 2 undercard. Now, Caballero has to move up in weight to face Jason Litzo. And it's a shame that this man has to move up in weight just to get himself a viable opponent, but it is what it is. December 4th, I think it's going to be Gomez versus Chavez Jr. I don't think it's signed yet, but I think it's going to be Gomez Chavez Jr. I know Miguel Cotto was supposed to be on the card. Originally, it was intended to be Cotto versus Chavez Jr. That was the original intentions of the card, but it all changed. I think Chavez Jr. is going to be on the. He's going to be on the card, possibly as a headliner. Who knows? But they have to pretty much. They do have to sign the papers very soon, so everybody can get all prepared for it. But I think it's an interesting matchup. Alfonso Gomez lost to Miguel Cotto, so let's see how Chavez Jr. does against Gomez. And Gomez got embarrassed by Cotto somewhat. He's got his ass kicked. I remember watching the fight April 2008 and just remembering how confident Miguel Cotto was. But it's going to be an interesting matchup. December 11th, of course, Vladimir Klitschko's fighting. Mormac turned that fight down, but hopefully he gets in the ring with somebody decent. That I guess that could put up a fight. I would love to see him fight, maybe a Chris Arreola, or and I know Tomas Adamek is fighting Vinny Maddaloni, I think his name is. Vinny Maddalone is fighting him, but that fight is no way going to prepare him for Klitschko, him or Grant. But hey, it is what it is. And also on that date, we're going to see Maidana versus Khan, fight we've been waiting for about a year and a half now. Interesting matchup, intriguing matchup. And there's another fight on December 11th, possibly. Oh yeah, the bantamweight card, that's going to be on the 11th as well. Maris Darchinian, Agbeko Perez 2, I believe, is going to be on that card. Very interesting. I had Perez, Agbeko. One is my fight of the year last year, one of my favorite fights to watch. Darchinian and Maris, that's going to be a very interesting fight, going to be exciting as well. So we'll see what happens with that one. And then we're going to end the year with Pascal Hopkins. We're going to end the year with that one. I'm interested in the fight, but I'm not interested enough to buy it. It's probably going to be a movie theater. I'll watch it in the movie theater on the 18th of December. Hopkins, he's coming off a victory over Roy Jones Jr. Pascal coming off of a tremendous victory over Chad Dawson. So that's going to be interesting there. I think it's going to be an interesting clash because Hopkins wouldn't fight Dawson, but he's going to fight Pascal, the man who beat Dawson. So, Pascal, I think, is the #1 light heavyweight right now. Has been facing pretty good opponents over the last couple years. So I'm gonna say he's probably the best light heavyweight now. And in a way, it just feels as if this matchup is for light heavyweight. Just like the Dawson fights, kind of like one of those fights that feels like it's gonna be for light heavyweight supremacy in a way. Hopkins isn't losing any fights, so he hasn't lost since April 19th of 2008. So anyway, it's going to be an interesting end of the year for boxing, and I'm glad to see all these fights coming up. And also, I did forget to mention Abraham Froch. It's going to be happening sometime soon, either 27th or like the 4th, I believe, or something along those lines. But anyway, it's going to be an interesting cards coming up. Can't wait to see them, and I'll be doing predictions for these matchups soon. So anyway, guys, I'll be back next week. Hopefully I catch this fight in Grand Prairie. If not, tough luck. But anyway, guys, that was the distance. Thanks for watching. Peace.